Na ka tla nix wa ka tla boa sekgowa na ka sekolo ke tlo nje tsa le tloelang no serious what tloelang Mr. I want a very serious note. I can't be working like this since I'm going to beggar. So it is behaving recently. And in the was of chasers or in the Soviet Aziko. It's because of us we are on the ground. We are working tirelessly to make sure that I fund in the 10 what has happened to 10 years. It's not good what has happened to you, but you must put yourself as what happened to them. It's what is happening to us. We have been phone calls every day. We do go or chase. 4 people died because of this winter, because of not having electricity for 1 year, 15 months, 5 months. We can't be having such a thing. We fought for this freedom. We made you. It's because of us, because of you are here. We never slept there. Today, this is what we get. When we are supposed to come to us, you're telling us about being sick. No, people, please, nah. I'm on the ground every day. Because I'm always on the ground trying to make sure but you didn't told it right. But then you have been told this. Why is the camera not every time I phone housing or whatsoever. And you are not getting paid for it, and you don't want to get paid. But the fact of the matter for Banabaru now. What am I just how come our city can really employ undocumented foreigners in this matter? Why am I going to because of what's happening? No. Please. So report is coming. So you didn't hey man.
So I think a lot of people might think or Thabang was dramatic. Or passionate, that dramatic. Or passionate because the bullet is out di thola yena, e be di thola rona, e be di thola di counselor. Let's as much as we can laugh about these things, I encourage us to laugh. But we must remember that the agenda is too serious because it's dealing with the so from Saturday until I think we don't need the reasons, we already know them. But how do we move forward from this problem so that we can all move forward?
Disrespect. So yeah, March utlile ka di 21 tsa June ke batla o lefa timeline of what's happened until now. Kobali engagements ka di 7th of July my office went to Soweto to meet informally le youth parliament leader. Okay.
Correct, Mama. Kiss to parliament, not youth parliament.
Sorry, askis Then, kadi 12 July, kikupa retusan akuna microphone. Then I wrote to 3 ministers: the Minister of Public Enterprise, the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, and the Minister of Finance. I'll tell you why finance, because there's an issue. There are 2 processes here. The one process is the potential takeover of Eskom supply areas by City Power. And there's a feasibility study. It's been running even before the March came. That process was underway. It's between Eskom and City Power to see how feasible it would be for City Power to take over. What is the value of the assets, the infrastructure, the debt, what's going to happen to it? So finance also must get involved. So that's why we wrote to finance as well. And then we also wrote to the CEO of Eskom. We received acknowledgement from only 2 officers, Public Enterprise and Finance. They acknowledged receipt on the 13th of July, but to date we've not had a response. Okay, the others we did not even receive an acknowledgement. Gadi 14, we issued a formal response to residents through again the Soweto Parliament leadership. That was in writing. Okay, and then Gadi 19, I had a bilateral meeting with Eskom ya mo Gauteng to ask them how far are they Because, like I said, there's two processes. This process, so we need to, in the interim, Eskom ilukise and verify a detailed plan of how they're going to do that. So we had a bilateral and we agreed. I don't want to get into those details because the agreement is when we go and give the feedback, Eskom must be there and they must speak for themselves, because I don't want us to speak for Eskom because it confuses people. And I don't want you to continue being blamed for Eskom failures because you don't work for Eskom. So we need to create that distinction, and this is how we're creating it. When we go speak to the people, Eskom must speak for themselves and we speak for the city. What I did not say is we received the memorandum day 22 and they were analyzed by my office. 90% of the issues were Eskom issues. Only 10% were related to the city of Johannesburg. So those were referred to Eskom, and that's why we had the bilateral with them later. But also in my letter to the minister, those were detailed. And then, Kadi 19, okay, I spoke about the bilateral with Eskom. Kadi 20, we agreed on the date, ya feedback. We agreed with Soweto Parliament, because it's happening Kadi 6. Unfortunately, I got sick. I've been in bed since Thursday. But as you can see, I'm still not well. I forced myself. Now, when we realized we reached out, and I think this is where I need to also understand why we got the response we got, because I cannot decide on my own. I can't a representative when I don't know how it's going to be received. That's why we reached out and said, let's have a telecon. When was that? Sunday? Yeah. Even before. In fact, since Kwesi's been on leave, but he's been reaching out to you and to some Arab. You've not been taking his calls. You've not been responding to his messages. That's last week. And Tandeka was also engaging. So there was also communication block from your end. Ne? And I was in bed and I said, but we can do a telecon because I'm in bed. Let's agree on what we're going to do. Should I send a representative? Should we agree on an alternative date? Because we're ready to come and give the feedback. And that meeting did not happen because you guys said busy. Okay? Said busy. And then, yeah, have we announced a new date? Not yet. Okay, so we need to agree on how we're going to take this forward. It's really in your hands, ne? I can function at this level. If you want us to set a new date, even if I'm not well, we can do that. If you want me to send someone else, we can do that. If you want us to set a date, maybe in a week's time when I'm feeling better, we can do that. But we've not been ready because we did our job. We analyzed your data and we referred things to the relevant departments, as I've stated. We've written letters to the relevant ministers. Even internally on the 10% of COJ matters, those were also referred internally, and that response will also be given. So that's where we are, okay? So you need to guide us on those are the options. Either we wait, maybe a week, then we proceed, or I send someone else now, or I come as weak as I am and I address people, which I did not want. So you'll advise on which option will work best.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.